everyone, and welcome. I'm VelvettB, and thanks for joining me today for a speedcast. And today we are actually doing something a little different. So we are creating a fairy rock band. So this was for a little cast challenge created by G Lovely, where there's a whole debate in The Sims, right? Where people are like, we want fairies, and the other people are like, we want rock bands. So this was a cast challenge for fairies versus rock bands. Honestly, I don't have an opinion either way. I don't know, what would I choose? Fairies or rock bands? I mean, what would you guys choose? That's probably a better question. But for me, I don't know. I mean, I kind of went like quite on the fence with this one, right? So, because I created a fairy rock band, so I kind of cheated a little bit. I didn't make a definitive decision about am I fairies, am I rock bands, because I made a fairy rock band. But I think out of the two, I would probably go fairy. I think just because I really do enjoy, for the most part, occult gameplay. I enjoy all gameplay, but I probably like both. There's no reason why I wouldn't like both, but I think out of the two, I'd probably lean slightly towards fairy. Oh, it's one of those things. It's just one of those eternal debates in The Sims, in The Sims 4, fairies or rock band. And I don't know if there's a right answer to that. Why not have both? Eh? So, let's talk a little bit about my thoughts on what I was trying to do here. Now, I will not claim to be a CAS expert at all. It's something I actually really do enjoy doing, but I don't consider myself like really, really good at it. Like, I see some CAS creators and they create these like beautiful stories and these characters that just look like their stories, right? And it's always just mind-bogglingly good to me. Absolutely amazing. And I don't know if I'll ever achieve that, being able to do that, because I just don't concentrate on CAS enough. But I do enjoy it when I get the opportunity to jump in, and I'm going to try and improve my skills in that area. And I think that's a really good thing to do, is just try things that you've never done and push yourselves out of your comfort zone, and maybe do something different, and you might be able to find something else that you do love. Like, I love building in the game, and if you follow my channel at all, then you'll know that I do love building in The Sims 4. It is my outright favorite thing to do. But I really love playing games, gameplay, doing challenges, and I do enjoy CAS. So it's just one of those funny things. So the whole concept behind my fairy rock band is, I was thinking about fairies and how they look, or how they are described, because obviously they're not actually real and we don't actually know what they look like, but in literature. So I read a lot of young adult fiction, and I have read like quite a lot of like fae books, fairy books, otherworldly sort of fantasy novels where you do have faes or fairies, or fairy-like beings. And I was just thinking about how they are quite often described. So, they're quite often described as fair in nature. And I'm just thinking, I kind of had in my head a little bit Legolas from Lord of the Rings, right? The blonde hair, and you get the pointy ears, and they're quite often described in books and the like as being quite tall, quite thin, and quite narrow, sharp, sort of beautiful features. And that's the kind of look I was going for with these Sims, was, definitely the blonde hair, the pale skin, the ears pointy at the tips, and like the long, narrow faces, and just like those otherworldly kind of eyes as well. And one of those things with the fairies is that you set, if you make a bargain with a fairy, you never know what exactly you've bargained for. They're kind of known for their ability to work around words without like being an outright liar about what they're promising. They do find those tricksy kind of workarounds with their words. And that wasn't really relevant for this, but I just find it interesting. So the Faes. So the name of my rock band is the Faes, and the Faes are three sisters. So they're three sisters, and they're all sort of tall, thin, blonde, very similar looks. And I just wanted to give them like an almost, I don't know, like a more alien kind of look. Like, I wasn't going the cutesy fairy route. I was going sort of more like they are human-esque or sim-esque, as the case may be, but they are definitely not your usual Sims. They're definitely occult. There's definitely something else. They are otherworldly. They aren't your usual Sim. Like, they have a whole other set of rules in play, and they see things and they see the world in a different way. They're quite brutal in nature, and yeah, kind of scary a little bit. So I did do a little bit of face paint, and I kept that face paint the same for each of the sisters because I felt like that was actually going to be genetic markers for them, in the sense that that's just part of the way that fairies look. They have that this otherworldly marking to them, just that magical aspect. And I think I made them all spellcasters as well. So obviously, because we don't have fairies in the game, I did want to give them some sort of occult aspect to them. And each of these sisters, they have a distinct personality, and I guess I gave them like kind of colors each. So, like a color theme to what they were wearing. So they are the fairy rock band that is taking the underworlds by storm. So the sisters three start with the leader of the group and the eldest, which is Eris. So she's the one that we created first, and she was the one wearing turquoise. And then we have the rebellious tomboy Eri, and she is the middle sister. So that's who we are working on at the moment. So this is the rebellious middle sister, Eris. No, sorry, Eri. And she's more into sort of the blacks. She's definitely a lot more sort of punk styling. And just remember, because this is a fairy rock band, their looks are fairy, but their clothes are rock, if that makes sense. But they're kind of different aspects of rock. So like the middle sister Eri is more punk rock, and the eldest sister is more, I guess, traditional rock, and the youngest sister is more pop rock. So it's kind of like three different stylings of rock within the rock band, but they've all got that, and that all suits their personality as well. That was kind of the idea behind it. Sometimes it's really hard to express what your thoughts are when you are, I don't know, I think the good cast creators are able to express what they're trying to do with their Sims through how the Sim creation looks and through the story that they tell. I don't know that I have the knack for that, so I feel like me having a video where I am creating these Sims and then actually being able to explain what I'm trying to do, I think that helps a lot. Like, once I explain it, you can maybe see what I'm doing, but I don't know if you can see what I'm doing when you just go to look at the Sims and look at the story, which is a fairy rock band. I think maybe they look like a fairy rock band, but you don't know why they're all sort of tall and thin and light coloured, and got the blonde hair, except obviously the sisters dyed her hair, and got those markings on their faces. Just what's in my head. I don't know if I can translate that into what I'm doing with my Sims. And I feel like the really, really good cast creators are actually able to do that. They're able to take this concept and this idea and this story, and they're able to take that whole thing, and they're actually able to put that into these Sims. And then you look at those Sims and you read the story and go, oh yeah, I totally see that. Whereas I don't know if I wholly got across what I was trying to do with these Sims. Just because I don't have that mad cast talent. Like, as I said, I enjoy it and I have fun with it, and I want you guys to have fun with it, with me doing it as well. But yeah, as I said, I don't know if I have that talent to bring that story into my Sims. Hopefully I do a little bit. Like, hopefully you can see it a little bit, but I don't know. You guys can tell me in the comments. That's entirely how you interpret it, I guess. So then we are on to the youngest sister. So the youngest sister is the sweet, generous Esty. And so basically, she's a lot sweeter and cuter, and she's the one that kind of has little bit more of the pop rock aspect to her. So, like, if they were going to be single artists, one would be more classic rock, one would be punk rock, one would be pop rock, essentially. And they each have their different personalities in terms of their, in terms of their traits and bits and pieces. And I felt like I wanted to make those traits match those personalities a little bit. So the lovely little Esty here, she's a dance machine, she's generous, and something else. I don't know which one that is. I can't remember it off the top of my head what that last trait is. I think maybe I don't know. It's got lots of different things to it, so maybe she's something else. I can't remember off the top of my head, and I can't recognize it off the top of my head either. I'm pretty good with traits, but I don't know them all. It's not like it's a build buy and I can just go, yes, I know what that is. I'm not as good with the gas. And it's just like when I'm exploring new packs and I'm just going through and like there's been a base game update in the game and I'm just trying to find all the updated CAS and I'm just like, I just don't know. Because I'm not in CAS enough to really feel like I know it like the back of my hand, because I don't at all. And the same with like the trait symbols. I just don't know them off like the back of my hand kind of thing. So anyway, moving on from my lack of remembering absolutely everything in the game. I'm trying, but I'm not there yet. The sweet and generous Esty. So she's coming together and she's looking really pretty, and I sort of went like whites and pinks with her. I thought that would sort of be, she is the youngest, and I feel like she's really, she's maybe about 18 in human years. So she is still quite young and naive and really just finding out who she is as a person and discovering her own sort of personality. And yeah, that's where she's sort of at, and she definitely gets a little overlooked after by her elder sisters. Particularly her eldest sister. She definitely looks out for her younger sister and makes sure that she doesn't get into any trouble, inadvertent or otherwise, while they're out on the road promoting their hit album. So their hit album is called Want You on Your Back. And yeah, that's their hit album. It's like, want you on your back. I don't know. I didn't actually write the song or the lyrics or anything like that. I just named it. That was the name I came up with. Anyway, if you do want to get these, I think they're pretty assorted packs, so I didn't really limit the packs or anything like this. This is more for a fun challenge kind of idea than it was for looking for downloads on the gallery. And yeah, my CAS never gets much in the way of notice on the gallery anyway, just because there's so much other better things on the gallery to download. But hey, if you are interested in them, if you want to play with a fairy rock band, then they are on the gallery, and it is VelvettB on the gallery. So, I did put a lot of love and attention and thought into how these sims were created. So it wasn't just like a random put together a nice sim kind of thing. I was thinking about their story, and I was thinking about who each of these sims were and how they sort of interacted as a unit, and their background and why they looked the way that they looked, and all that sort of thing. So I feel like I did actually put a lot of time and work into these sims, and I had a lot of fun creating them and just thinking about that. But as I said, I just don't know how well that translates. And I guess it's kind of niche as well. Do you want 3 alien fairy looking rock band members in your game? Well, if you do, then hey, I've got the rock band for you. Anyway, we are just finishing up. I actually loved that party outfit that I put on her. I thought that was absolutely stunning for her. Just utterly gorgeous dress. And yeah, I think we're just about finishing up with the last sister, and then I'll just leave you with a few little tiny screenshots and we'll be all done. But I want to say a big thank you for hanging out with me as I talked, waffled, chitty-chatted about this little rock band that I made, and I hope you guys just had fun watching it with me. That's the main thing, right? That we spend a little bit of time together and we have a little bit of fun. If you haven't subscribed yet, I would love it if you could hit that subscription button and, maybe give me a like, a comment. Tell me, fairies or rock bands. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys have fun, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye-bye.